Late Night Health continues. We're going to take a look at the heart, and we're going to talk about cardiovascular health, how conventional wisdom is failing us. It's a new book by J.N. Cohn. He is a medical doctor, renowned cardiologist. He practices in Minnesota. He is a professor of medicine in the cardiovascular division of the Department of Medicine at the University of Minnesota Medical School in Minneapolis, and the author of Cardiovascular Health. Dr. Cohn, welcome to Late Night Health. I'm really curious. How do I know if I'm having a heart attack or just my wife's cooking just didn't agree with me?
Well, that's always been an issue, and of course, because of the concern about heart disease, people who have symptoms like that usually seek help to make sure it's something real and not a minor malady. So we certainly don't encourage people to try to make their own diagnosis when they're having symptoms that could be fearful.
Or even life-threatening.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? But at the same time, so you wake up and you have terrible indigestion and chest pains, because that often accompanies indigestion. Do you rush out to the ER? Urgent care is already closed. That's $150 just to find out that you need an Alka-Seltzer.
Well, it's your life is on the line, and I guess if you're having symptoms that are worrisome to you, then they need to be resolved. The beauty of what we do at our center in Minneapolis at the university is that we assess for early disease, and people who don't have early disease that we can monitor with our methodology, which is all non-invasive, people without early disease don't get heart attacks. So if we tell you you're free of early disease, you can be pretty sure what little symptom you're having is not a heart attack. That's one beauty of being able to monitor the presence of early disease in your blood vessels or in your heart, which is what we do routinely in everyone who comes through our center.
I had a heart scan a few years ago. It was, I'm trying to think, it was to test calcium plaques. Is that something that you routinely do?
Well, we don't routinely do that. We do on occasions, of course, if we want, if we feel it's necessary to be certain one way or the other. The problem with a calcium score is that it does detect cholesterol plaques in your artery, but only if there's calcium in them. And in the younger ages, people below the age of 55 or so, the likelihood is that those plaques don't have calcium, and therefore a calcium score won't detect the presence of a plaque, which is a plaque with cholesterol, and it's a soft plaque, doesn't have calcium in it, but they're in fact often the most dangerous plaques are those without calcium. So in our center, we're mainly aiming at people in their 40s and 50s, and in those people, calcium is much less common, and the plaques, if they're there, are probably soft.
And what about the older age? Is there more chance of having calcium in that?
Yes. If people have a calcium score of 0 and they're 65 or 70 years old, they can be pretty confident they're at low risk, not at zero risk, because there may be soft plaques in those people too, but at the age of 65 or 70, one would expect that the plaques are beginning to get calcified, and the calcium score will be a pretty reliable estimate of whether they have or don't have disease.
And the calcified plaque is harder than the soft?
Well, calcium is like bone, so
right.
It is a hard plaque that has gotten calcium in it, and it is probably less likely to rupture, and it is the rupture of those plaques, and we don't know what causes rupture, but they will periodically rupture. And when they rupture, a clot may form on the surface of them, and the clot is what causes the heart attack. So the heart attack is caused by the presence of a plaque, its rupture, and then a clot formation.
In your book, you talk about genetics. Would you say genetics is the number one cause of heart disease rather than diet or exercise?
I do. Not that exercise and diet don't play a contributory role, but if you've inherited the gene for premature atherosclerosis, and I wish we knew what that gene was, or even if there were a single gene, which there is not. But if you've inherited that gene from your parents or from your familial background, then even if you diet and exercise and do everything right, you're still going to be destined to have premature atherosclerosis and be at risk for a heart attack, no matter what you do. It may be that really exercising and eating a prudent diet and doing everything right will slow the progression down modestly, but it won't eliminate the risk.
All right.
And if you haven't inherited that gene, you can probably eat anything you want, unfortunately, and I wish we had more data to confirm that, but I suspect that people who don't have that gene can go through their whole life doing whatever they please, and they won't have a premature event like a heart attack or stroke.
And I'm going to be personal for a second, okay? I'm going to ask, instead of doctor, I'm going to ask Jay. You know, do you exercise, and when was the last time you had a pastrami sandwich on rye bread?
Oh, I eat. I love steak. I love baked potatoes with butter. I weigh 135 pounds, so I guess
I hate you already, doctor. I hate you already.
Yeah, right.
You know,
but I do eat. I have a prudent diet. Obviously, I don't eat a lot of carbohydrates, and I exercise regularly. I play tennis a couple times a week. In the wintertime, when we're in Florida, I play golf. I walk regularly in our neighborhood. So I exercise. I believe I eat prudently, but I don't worry too much about what's in the food that I eat, as long as I enjoy the food. And I think lifestyle may be very much dependent in some people on the ability to eat what they choose to eat. And I don't think that it is critical, because I'm taking medication that slows the progression of disease. I did inherit a gene which would have given me a heart attack probably 20 years ago had I not been prudently taking medication which slows the progression of the disease. And that's the secret today. It isn't diet, although I'm a full supporter of prudent living and good diet, and I love exercise, and I think it improves the quality of life. The trick to maintaining cardiovascular health is, if you've inherited the likelihood of getting it, take a medication, because it will slow the disease process in your arteries and in your heart.
Now, I have to say that while I promote a supplement first kind of approach, I'm not against pharmaceuticals. I've said this before. However, I find that often pharmaceuticals don't live up to their hype. And with all the pharmaceuticals that come out, all the research that is done, you're one man, okay? And you're certainly smarter than I am. You went through medical school and post-grad and all that stuff, and you understand it much better than I do. But with all the ways new drugs come out, even older drugs come out, there's no way that any one doctor can assimilate all that information. Wouldn't it be more prudent to try natural remedies to lower cholesterol, to maintain cardiovascular health, than to have expensive drugs that often have side effects that require another drug to combat that side effect?
Well, I think you're overemphasizing the safety of the other things that you're recommending, because they have
I don't recommend. I'm not a physician.
Right, but if we the medications that we use in our center are all generic. They are inexpensive. The pharmaceutical industry is constantly trying to develop what they claim are newer and better treatments, which are very expensive. For the most part, those are unnecessary. The drugs that we utilize today, the statin drugs, the angiotensin-inhibiting agents, the calcium antagonists that we use, all have been documented in very carefully controlled studies to slow disease progression. We unfortunately do not have adequate information on some of the food additives and health store products which may well be effective, because those are drugs too. It isn't like they're any different than the other drugs we use.
It's food is medicine.
Food is medicine.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because there's no economic incentive, those agents haven't been well studied, and we're left without the full information. There are things in the health food stores that I think are probably very effective, and it could be used instead of the pharmaceutical agents, but they're not cheaper. The generic drugs are very inexpensive, and they should be given away free. I'm an advocate for freely giving drugs to people to protect them from developing expensive, morbid events, which cost the society a tremendous amount of money and would shorten people's lives unnecessarily. So I don't think we differ in the idea that we want everyone to be able to take something which will slow disease progression, which is cheap or free.
And effective. And I agree with you 100%, which means that I have to buy lunch. Damn it. Oh, well. When I get to Minnesota, the steak dinner or pastrami sandwich is on me.
Okay, you're going to have a pastrami sandwich? Then I will have it with you.
All right. Maybe we'll split it. They're always so big.
How's that? Right.
Last time I was in Minnesota, I'm trying to think of where it was. I can't remember. I was doing some work at Shop NBC in Eden Prairie.
Okay.
St. Paul's Club is really good.
Oh, is it? Yeah. St. Paul's Club? Okay, gotcha. All right. This man knows deli.
All right.
Not as much as I know deli, but you understand what I'm saying. Our guest, Jake Kahn, he is the author of Cardiovascular Health, How Conventional Wisdom is Failing Us. And when we come back, I want to find out how that title came to be, how conventional wisdom is not working for us. And I also want to discuss, if we can, cholesterol, because there's a lot of theories about that as well. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Jay Kahn is our guest, the author of How Conventional Wisdom is Failing Us. We will return in just a couple of moments. By the way, you can visit us at Facebook.com/Late Night Health. Facebook.com/Late Night Health. All right, we'll be back with Dr. Kahn in just a moment.
The experts at Web.com want to build your business a successful website for free, just like we did for these current Web.com customers.
We've looked at other website designers. There's nobody better than Web.com.
Web.com can build your website in as little as 7 days free. Plus, we'll promote it on all the major search engines. If after 30 days you're happy, we'll continue to provide promotion, hosting, support, and maintenance, all for one low monthly fee. If not, cancel and pay nothing.
If you're in business and you don't have a web presence, you won't be taken seriously.
Call right now and you'll also get a free .com or .net domain name for your new website, powered by VeriSign, the world's leading domain name provider.
No upfront charge for site build, after which ongoing fees apply. Rights to site are relinquished when canceled. Domain included during active service, after which fees apply.
800-489-8751. 800-489-8751. 800-489-8751. That's 800-489-8751.
Attention users of the blood-thinning drug Xarelto. If you took the drug Xarelto and experienced complications such as cerebral hemorrhage, gastrointestinal bleeding or other internal bleeding, or if a loved one has died after taking Xarelto, you may be eligible to get a cash award for your suffering. Call the Xarelto Help Hotline now at 1-800-264-3150. That's 800-264-3150. To qualify for a cash settlement, you must file a claim before the deadline. So don't miss your opportunity for a cash settlement. Call 800-264-3150 now for a free, no-obligation consultation. Our call center is open 24/7. So if you took the drug Xarelto and experienced cerebral hemorrhage, gastrointestinal bleeding, or other internal bleeding, or if a loved one has died after taking Xarelto, call the Xarelto Help Hotline now at 800-264-3150. 800-264-3150. That's 800-264-3150.